All right. So what's this, like a little
Powwow?
get to know you session?
Yeah. This is a little get to know you session. I'm Brett Wilson, aka Bobby the Good. I'm the founder of Highvibe, and I'd like to call myself the Chief Vibe Officer. I play the role of leading the charge in building Highvibe into a tool that is used to enhance and evolve consciousness via mobile app by over 1 billion people. That is my mission. I am on that mission. I am leading the charge. And this mission is not a mission you can do on your own. And so I went out and I found a divine feminine. As a masculine who is intending to embody divinity, I had to find a similar type of frequency in the feminine vessel. And I found that in this lovely lady beside me, this beautiful woman, this beautiful soul named Donna.
And you attracted this beautiful soul through your gift of comedy.
Enlightened comedy.
Enlightened.
Yes.
Comedy.
My gift.
One of the many.
One of the many. I'm a funny guy. But Donna, I really wanted to introduce you to anyone that may not be aware of who you are. So could you please just give us a brief introduction of who you are as a human?
Oh, all right. I try not to identify too much as a human, but...
Well, let's keep that.
We have a balance of physical and non-physical here. I'm Donna Michelle, co-founder of Highvibe.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, there's always been what feels like an alignment of this divine mission. I'm more interested, or I was always interested in like connecting people, helping people remember their true selves, more aligned versions of themselves, aligned with source, with love. And so having your masculine energy to help me like focus that and bring it forward, bring it out to the world is beautiful.
Yeah, I just wanted to share, Donna, we don't really have titles at Highvibe yet, but she is community and connection.
Yeah,
or community connection.
Community and connections, because it's about connecting the community, but also connecting to ourselves.
Mm-hmm. So Donna has hosted in our small town here of Collingwood a couple light nights, and so they're very powerful community events and co-created with
many other beautiful beings,
people that are all high vibrational.
Mm-hmm.
But Donna had a beautiful experience and resume of connecting and bringing community together. So I figured, hey, this is the person to join Highvibe. Yeah. And mostly it was because she was an astute consciousness explorer and researcher herself. We found we could go on conversations speaking of non-physicality, speaking of consciousness, speaking of the science of spirituality. We could go for hours and hours and hours. And we were always up-leveling each other and challenging each other to be more of what we wanted to be, to become the best versions of ourselves.
Yeah.
So I saw her as this divine counterpart that could come in and give this idea of mine, saw the nurturing environment to grow into a fully blossoming physical entity that is beyond me. And it's been beautiful. But the reason that she fit this is because she is such a talented meditator. And so as someone who meditates,
it's quite a talent.
Yeah. What is meditation? What is the talent of, you mean you can do nothing?
You can sit and do nothing? Wow. Actually, but that's a good point, because we were chatting about this the other day, but now what I do in the non-physical, in the meditative state, it's like I don't know, when I first was like, yeah, okay, meditation, sit and do nothing in silence. It's like, no, you're affecting potential probabilities in the non-physical, and then you are experiencing the seeds you plant in this reality. So yeah, it's not nothing.
Giving function to the meditation, providing a functional aspect to meditation. So it's not just going into this calm mindfulness state to de-stress. No. This is an activity to participate in, to align yourself with greater, more divine energy, to encompass that greater and divine energy as a conduit in this reality, and to be this light, and to live in a world of light. This
is the functional meditation that you're speaking to, because there are many forms of meditation, and they all serve beautiful purposes.
Yes. Walking meditation.
Yeah. When I play the harmonium and I'm chanting, that is a meditative
state.
Yeah.
Achieving a meditative state. Yes.
Dancing, like anything. There's so many things for me that feel meditative.
Driving, I've heard of some people feel they get into sort of a trance-like state, although that seems a little dangerous. I'm not here to judge. I actually have to
not chant while I'm driving because it's dangerous.
Some say I do everything but drive as I'm driving. But no.
But it's been a really interesting journey getting to know you, because when I first asked you, like, what do you do?
Yeah, let's hear this.
So, like, you come into press and you used to get butter coffees. And then you switched to just black Americanos. But yeah, I was like, who is this guy that walks barefoot and wears plaid pajamas and sits on the patio working, which was like giggling to himself for hours. And I was like, this is so fascinating and curious. And so then I was like, what do you do? And then you were like, you didn't really know, but you were.
I was working on the idea of Highvibe. It was called Conscious Creator at the time, .io. And so I had been working on trying to build, I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew where I was going. And so I just allowed my intuition and source to guide me. So again, there was a lot of periods where I was asked to framework what I'm doing into a box that is this system that we live in. And I didn't always have an answer that fit the box of what an average person would expect.
Yeah. And so I feel like then there was just all those hours of connection, well, like the friendship that developed, and then those hours of picking each other's consciousness.
Challenging each other's perspectives and paradigms, and keeping us in a question like state, a curiosity type state. But it always resonated. Like, I knew that whatever you were working on, I was like, this is a divine mission, and this guy's onto something. Yeah. I was just like, yes. Like, sign me up. Yeah. And it is a divine mission that is open. Like, it's open. So if you are watching this and you're feeling drawn to join too, it's connect with the Highvibe community. It's it's something beyond us. But I feel like I also, I really, I want to mention my mentor, because that's like, she's been such a huge part of this, like Katya Marie Williams. She was the one who really introduced me to more expanded states of consciousness, and to specific processes to dismantle my own ego programming. And that's a huge piece of expanding your awareness and increasing light. And so, the journey with her that I'm still on is a beautiful thing, and has supported me and really allowed me to come into resonance with
what you're working on, what you were working on.
Yeah, as a masculine, I'm creating this tool, this technology, ideally, that allows you to train your consciousness. It's a consciousness entropy reduction training system. And
we're going to have a glossary, don't worry.
Yeah, which means like it allows you to...
What's entropy?
Entropy is a state of disorder. So
it's a measurement of chaos.
It's a measurement of chaos and a state of disorder. And so lower entropy means you're more harmony, you're more cooperative, the information is more greater, and then high entropy is a system that's out of order, chaotic, and the high entropy systems are what break down. And so as a system, an information system, it naturally has to be maintained. And so the Highvibe program is a tool for you to consistently maintain your consciousness, to train, to continually entropy. It never goes to zero. So you can never lower entropy completely. That is the nature of our physical reality, of physics in our reality. And so you always have to be fine-tuned. It's a lifestyle. Yes. You always have to be working on lowering your entropy. Yeah. And then so what
it becomes easier and easier as you go. It's not, it's like, not like a constant struggle, like I like through the mud. Yeah, it becomes a joyful.
No.
It becomes a joyful experience, because I think every time you move through something and you lower your entropy, you are raising your light, and increasing your capacity for love. So it's always a beautiful thing.
Some people call someone that's enlightened like a bright light. Well, what they're doing is harmonizing all the light around them. They're like, you can't see it with your eyes, but if you had the capability like some people do, you could see their aura and their light. And the more bright someone is, it's the more organized and cooperative, and there's more information within the light field, so it's like more accessible, it's more harmonious. So that's what
well, and I like to think of that as like, it's like as you expand your capacity like for love, it's like if you imagine like a sphere around you and of light, and then like as you expand that, the light like touches more and like envelops or embraces more and more, so that everything you encounter becomes touched by that light.
Yeah,
and that's the lens you see through, and that's the life that you experience.
And that light is non-physical. So that's a vibe. So when you walk into a room, you can feel a vibe. Like some say like, oh dude, your vibe. Like I feel your high vibe like when I walk in, and it's like, that's my light. Yeah. That's non-physical, that you're feeling non-physically. You can't see it, but it is legitimate energy around. That's information.
Yeah. And our bodies communicate, right? Our fields are communicating. So we pick up on that stuff.
And so I was creating a tool with the Highvibe program, this very analytical tool. It creates an objective, like masculine way of approaching the subjective. So it gives you kind of like a list or an organizational structure to work through non-physical thought space, which is that's the consciousness entropy reduction system. But as I was building that, and as I was growing, I needed the feminine, because it's a little too hard, it's a little too rigid, masculine, and that's where your gift of what you're working with Katya with is it provides what we say is like, it creates a subjective way to feel through the objective. So it provides the feminine balance to this tool.
Yeah, I feel like it's still a very like somewhat logical approach to the emotional. So like we're like allowing the emotions to come through, but working with them and transmuting them. Yeah.
And as you join the Highvibe program, you'll get to work with Donna and I and communicate with us in this community. And we each have our own strengths. Yeah. And it's perfect balance. Yeah. And the beautiful balance, I think, is also you providing or bringing forward us, like birthing this offering now. When you're speaking of entropy, some would say that, like our outer world at this time is in a
state of pretty high entropy.
Yeah, there's a lot of chaos, you could say, out in the outer world. If you're watching news, mainstream news, it seems chaotic, high entropy right now.
Yeah. So then using Highvibe, allowing us to really embody that state of low entropy means that then it's the so what is it? So within, as within, so without.
As above, so below. As within, as without.
Yeah. So if your inner environment is balanced and harmonized, low entropy, then your outer environment will be as well, because everything is perception based. So it's a good. It's timely.
That's a lovely point. We wanted to create a tool for people to have a personal meditation practice. We see the world as getting more high entropy and chaotic and dysfunctional naturally with the shifting age, but it's occurring, and it's something that's occurring and you're going to experience. So we wanted to create a tool and a program and a system and a community around the act of in the process of taking care of yourself, of the only thing you can do, which is working on yourself. And so we wanted to create the best tool that allows you to work on yourself, because everyone seems to want to do something about their outer world being a little more chaotic. But we've come to the conclusion, and this is our hypothesis, that the one thing you can do is to improve and evolve yourself. And so if we can create a tool and we can get it into the hands of ideally 1 billion, but only if we even 100,000 or 1 million people, there's a phase shift in the level of consciousness that will spread. And so if we can get everyone just to take care of themselves, then they're not living in this fear state, this chaotic high entropy state. We give them the tool to lower their entropy, and then all of a sudden it's like a phase shift, and the collective consciousness gets calmer. And that's our intention. We want to bring in a more positive reality. Yeah,
and that's what I wanted to speak to, as you said, that like it's our like the way we see the world in chaos, or perhaps increasing chaos. It's not a negative thing, or like meant to. It's not fear based, because like evolution and growth comes through that. So having the tools for each of us to approach our lives in that way, that's the phase shift that he's talking about.
Everyone has a tool to transmute the outer darkness that is leaking into their world and turn it into light, so that they become a light, and so that the outer darkness is not as pronounced, and so they're going out and shining their light into the world. And we see this as something that needs to be done. And if by actively doing this personal practice, you are contributing to the light in the world, Yeah.
Well, and that's where so you're contributing to light, and you're also creating more light. You're creating increasing from light. And that's something that's been coming through really strong lately, is that like, I didn't come here to fight. I came here to create. So rather than like going and fighting the systems or whatever, like I'm not here to criticize. How about I create something that works for me, that feels in alignment? So like, we can use these tools to create our own experiences, our own lives, and create a new world.
A lot of people want to fight the system, but that's a fear state. You can't fight the system. You have to. You
can fight it, but you can't achieve.
You're not going to get far.
More light by fighting, right?
The goal is to turn your own perspective into the most positive thing, to take all that through your own subjective experience of life. We each experience life differently, and through that own unique experience, turn it as positive as you can. We see that as like the purpose of being here. So we wanted to create a tool for you to be able to do that better. Because like we said, end state, we live in a higher state of consciousness. We're all in the purple crown chakra. The fear, the lower vibe is diminished, and we have a system collectively to extinguish fire. even though fire can provide light,
Yeah.
it can also damage, So we it's a tool to transmute darkness. It's a tool to increase your light, to connect to source, to go align every day with higher power. And it's actually a very beautiful life. And we practice what we preach, I'd like to think. So yeah, we look forward to training
and
people on this.
when we met, like, I was not an experienced meditator. And I'd meditated mostly more like guided sound bath journeys, that kind of thing. I didn't have practice that I was doing. And I think it's only, what would you say, like a year maybe?
I'd
Just
say
over
it's
a
been
year?
about a year since I've gotten you the
Yeah, like since I've been using it daily or like really, committing to a practice. So yeah, it's not something that's like out of reach for people. As soon as you start, and if you are really engaging in the process, then you will feel a shift.
Yeah. Transformation guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on that note, I would like to say thank you and invite you to watch more of our content. Yeah. Check out tryhighvibe.com. You can practice a functional high vibe meditation with us and learn about the sound technology more. Thank you.